Podcast time is here. I don't know
Yeah,
why I'm singing this.
you're so excited to be back.
Oh, and I just. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Um, so a lot's happened.
Yeah. Can I just get this shit out of the way so I don't have to ever talk about it again?
Go for it.
Okay. So, a couple weeks ago, it was a Sunday morning, and I was just feeling fantastic that morning. You know why? I was on top of all of my projects for once. Like, that is the thing that happens maybe once a month, and that's probably being generous. So I'm just feeling great. I feel, hey, I've got some side stuff that I enjoy working on, and I can actually enjoy working on it guilt free because I don't have anything else waiting in the wings that I'm supposed to be working on instead. So I'm just, tip tapping away, writing some stuff. And I guess I get a private message on Discord from, I don't really need to out them specifically, so I'm just going to say someone who messages me on an occasional basis to ask for advice, usually, about this or that. Like he has asked me about setting how to set up a Patreon and what to do with that and how to handle commissions and that kind of thing. So sometimes he'll just message me out of the blue whenever I'm online, and I don't like when people do that, but okay, that's just the thing he's doing, and I don't have it in me to tell him to stop. So this guy messages me, and he's like, "Hey, so me and some friends have been working on a game. It's like a really proof of concept thing. It'll only take like 5-10 minutes. Could you take a look at it?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I am in a really good mood, and I have free time, so sure." I am going to decide to be super helpful today because I am in a good mood and I'm on top of everything. So he sends me a link to a website, and it's just a very simple website, like someone would throw together in Squarespace after like 5 minutes with some basic screenshots. Okay, download the thing. And it's a zip file, and I open it and ask for a password, and I don't have the password, and I ask him, and he's like, oh, sorry, that's a new version, and it's currently not working, so never mind that. Download this one instead. So I do, and this is an exe file. Should have
Oh,
been a red flag, but, I'm not thinking especially clearly. And that is a good lead in, by the way. That is a really good, clever lead in of sending you to a thing, and it's like, oh, right, that's a new version, and it's buggy as fuck, it doesn't work. Sorry, try this one instead, and you stop really thinking about it that much, because that makes it sound a little bit more legit, and good for them. Assholes, but good for them. So I run the installer, and it comes up with like 5 warning pop-ups, one after another, very briefly saying, something something, access to something something.dll is not permitted. And it's like 5 of those, and I'm like, okay, going into add or remove programs, going into wherever that installed, and just immediately deleting it. And in that maybe 30 seconds, this guy takes control of my Discord account and then my email account. Sorry, should to say my Microsoft account, not my email account, because that is my email account, is my Microsoft account. So yeah, he is like, hey, messages me from a different account and says, hey, I have hacked you. Let's make a deal. And I don't respond because panic, for one thing, and for another thing, never in this circumstance do you expect them to actually make and honor a deal. So I'm just like, okay, how do I fix this? And with shaky hands, I'm just sort of like panically trying to fix everything and sort everything and see if I can get control of these things back. And I don't. And in that time, I just kind of get kicked off my Discord account, which seems counterproductive of them, but I think they might have given up on actually making a deal with me because, I wasn't responding. It took about half an hour. So at this point, I called my mum and said, hey, I'm in the shit and I could use some help and like some devices that are not my computer right now because it's compromised. And then I call the police, and they leave me on hold for 2 hours. And so I'm like, okay, that clearly didn't help. So I hang up and call my bank instead, and it's like, okay, shut down all of my finance stuff. I need it all shut down because some stuff is compromised. I don't know what they have, so be cautious. Just shut it down. Send me a new debit card, and be on the lookout for questionable payments and that sort of thing. And they do. And then comes the long and laborious process of changing as many account passwords and emails as I can, which is that's not a safe and secure outcome of things anyway, because funny thing about changing your email, it sends an email to your old email address.
Oh.
However, to date, that has not caused a problem. I did actually manage to get my Microsoft account back for a short-ish amount of time through their recovery system. And in that amount of time, I deleted every email in my inbox, in my everything. Hopefully that helped. I don't know. Maybe not. So then I lost control of that again and tried to do the recovery process again. And Microsoft basically said no every single time. And at this point, they have stopped even letting me do the recovery process. Like, I'll do the recovery process, and then they say they'll send me an email to confirm that this has gone through, and then it should take like 24 hours at most. And I receive neither email. So they're just not sending me anything anymore. So that's kind of fucked, and I'm screwed on that one, unfortunately.
Did you talk to anybody?
Talk to people at Microsoft. No, you go through fucking computers and shit now. Fuck you. Like, you ring up and say, hey, my account's been stolen. They say, please use the online functionality for the account recovery system. And then they put the phone down. So, yeah. So, in the process of getting my computer back at the very least, I have to, well, being real, my mum has to make a couple purchases, a new hard drive, which, was not actually installed, if I remember right, because we couldn't make heads nor tails of my desktop unit and how to install. Like, everything was blocked off from access, from adding and removing things, because it's a pre-built and they don't really give a shit and don't expect you to actually modify it. But yeah, that and external hard drive, so I could install Windows to it and use that as a boot drive and install Windows to the new hard drive. Unfortunately, that also required me buying a new copy of Windows, because guess what the old copy of Windows was on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all in all, I am out approximately £380 out of this kerfuffle.
Probably less than the guy was going to try to charge you.
Probably, yeah. So, what the guy would have charged me, and then probably not giving the account back anyway, because what the fuck do they care?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was a fun ordeal. As far as I can tell, everything is secure now. As far as I can tell. The finance stuff is sorted. I've got my new debit card. I am going to be closing my old PayPal account and opening a new one. Because that just seems like a sensible thing to do. So there's no way they can try to recover anything. Even though it's like secured with two-factor, it's just like what am I going to lose? Like, I just close the account, open a new one, and it all goes back to normal. So that's fine. The one biggest problem that I had, oddly enough, was getting back my Zenless Zone Zero account.
Well, hey, you got it back though, right?
That was a 3-day ordeal all unto itself, because that was like emailing Hoyoverse support and getting them to like respond, and like they want you to respond in these very specific ways, and then you go through all that, and then they say, hey, send us a video of the problem that you're having. Okay, well, I am very glad I have mild understanding of how to do video editing and stuff like that, so okay, here is me logging into my Hoyoverse account, and it's using the password that has been on that account for 2 years, and here is me trying to change my email, and it won't let me change the email because that's suspicious. I'm like, okay, I tried to do the recovery system, and the recovery system either doesn't work or is not functioning at all anyway. Here is some examples of payments I have made. I throw up like PayPal transaction IDs, proving that, yeah, this is totally me, and I have access to all the accounts to show it. And they're like, okay, we will help you out with this. We'll get account recovery to send you an email, click the link, and fill in the questionnaire. I'm like, oh god, are they just going to send me to do the same thing? No, it's a different system. It is way, way, way more in depth than the first one that I was using, because the first one that didn't work anyway, despite all the information being correct, was just like, what platform do you play on? What region are you in? Have you made any transactions on the account? What was the last transaction, and what was the currency it was in? And I filled all that in and it didn't work. But the more in-depth one went into details of like, what is the GPU and CPU of the system that you have used to run our games the most? Okay, well, I'm glad I'm still using the same computer components at least. And then also, what was the GPU and CPU of the system you created the account on?
What?
Yep.
Are you kidding?
That was 4 years ago. 5 years ago, actually. Well, close to 5 anyway. Yeah, that was a question that they asked, and I'm like, I don't know. It was an Intel One and an Nvidia, but I don't remember the exact models because that was 4 fucking years ago.
Dude.
Thankfully, that was still good enough because I had so much evidence. Like, they asked for, like, give us a month where you have made purchases from us. Okay, that's fucking April. Okay, now send us evidence of those transactions in whatever format. Like, images was just one. So I'm like, okay, I am very glad that I have downloaded my entire transaction history over the past year because I'm planning to delete my PayPal account. So I put up, okay, here are all of the transactions in the month of April. It is its own problem that I said all of the transactions in the month of April, but we're not going to get into that.
Jeez. Okay.
And that was good enough. And they gave it back to me. And I had a very nice victory moment of, yay, I got something back and didn't lose something that was surprisingly important to me. It's just like a very nice chill thing that I can do every now and again and have built up a lot of attachment to. And I would be very, very depressed and disappointed if I lost.
Yeah.
So...
Wow. Huge ordeal.
That was...
Well,
it's only technically over. Because, like I say, things could still go sideways in ways that I can't predict. And I can't predict them, so I don't know what they are yet. But, you know. And that was a thing I was much more worried about before. Still just kind of waiting in the back of my head. But there was a time when it was just like a constant tightness in my chest. And I'm just kind of, something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong over and over again. And, yeah. There was one big scare thanks to Google deciding, when this was all happening, like on the day of, it was like, yeah, so I need to change the email address on everything as fast as I can. So, Mum, can I borrow your email address for the most important things, which is, you know, I'm not going to say what those are, but the most important things. And she's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so basically, you went through a whole bunch of shit to change everything because of this one guy. Yeah. And screw that guy.
Yeah. But I was in the middle of... So I changed that to my mum's. And then once we got everything sorted, I had a new email address and changed everything to that email address. And about 3 days later, I get an email from Google, security alert, and I am shitting myself. I am absolutely shitting myself.
Oh, please tell me it's not. Okay.
And what it was them telling me, hey, this mum's email address has been changed to this new one. Your recovery email has been changed. This is concerning for us. And I'm like, I fucking did that. I did that 3 days ago, and you're telling me now as if it just fucking happened. You scared the crap out of me, Google. What the fuck?
I got worried. Like, oh my gosh. Well, is it's we're good now, right?
We seem to be good, yes. Like, I had to make very, very sure, like I said, I had to reinstall Windows on my computer just to, like, that formats the hard drive, effectively. So that gets rid of anything that was on it. So, as far as I'm aware, I am secure again. Everything's fine. They may or may not still have my email. Microsoft might have locked it down completely. I don't know. Like, there was a lot of back and forth of trying to get control of it, and Microsoft might have just said, okay, something's going on, just fucking shut it down. Which would be nice of them, but they haven't communicated that at all, if that's the case. So I'm just going to assume that email address is still stolen. It's going to be forever. That's fine. So, yeah. The police eventually got back to me and said, hey, you were on hold, and then you just kind of dropped the call. What happened? I'm like, yeah, you left me on hold for 2 hours, so I hung up and rang my bank instead. I'm like, oh, that's actually, okay, fair enough. That is absolutely a problem. I'm very sorry about that. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, they didn't swear on the phone, but that was basically the vibe that I was. And I said, okay, here's who you need to contact about this, and that will, at the very least, you will have a police report, so if something untoward happens, like this fucking Discord hacker decides to level up in crime, then you have a police report to say, hey, this is a thing that happened. And, you know, that is evidence that you were the victim of a crime and this isn't your fault, kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was a fun few...
Well, hey, at the very least, the worst of it is over.
I hate you for saying that. Why would you say that?
You know, now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have said such a phrase. My silver lining finding sets some dangerous flags, it seems.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why were you deciding against just outright saying his name after he caused you this much trouble and basically betrayed you?
Didn't.
I mean, he wasn't a friend, but he was an acquaintance.
Here's the important factor that I forgot to mention. That account hacked me, and then it was a different account that got back to me and said, hey, we have hacked you. I received a message on QQ from that guy, and he says, like, hey, I wasn't thinking and I was being stupid and I got hacked. So be careful of any messages that you get from me.
Oh, so you got hacked by somebody else who got hacked, and okay.
And the great fun part is that guy then said a bit later with another message, hey, so I guess that's just going around because your account just got in touch with me and is trying to make a deal.
What?
To get my account back. So, yeah, I guess that's just going around. And I can't fucking say anything to that. What do I do? Tell him? I can't do that. No. I'm not going to tell. Like, I've said it in a few places that, like, this was the account and, hey, you need to just, like, fucking not communicate with this account. Because that just seems like a sensible fucking thing to do. I did say it on our Discord. I did say it on other Discords that I think we share. I'm not sure. But, like, just directly telling him, hey, you completely screwed me over. Like, what does that achieve? What does that achieve?
Just being
aside
like,
from,
you know.
Aside from making him feel like shit. Like.
Yeah.
It's a fair thing, and I'm glad. Okay, I'm not glad, but it is something of a relief that you weren't just betrayed out of the blue by this acquaintance of yours. It's not a great silver lining compared to everything that happened, but
Yeah.
Well,
But hopefully that is the last time I ever have to talk about this, because I am so fucking sick of even thinking about the situation. So yeah,
you wanna move on?
I would like to move on to something. I would like to move on directly to me talking about something that I actually did, which is something I did like I think. Yeah, it was before this happened, I think. And it was to watch all of Invincible.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! I've also watched all of Invincible.
Yay.
So, tell me, how is it?
It is great. I know I had more specific things I wanted to say about it, but it is great.
Yeah.
One of the particular things I really liked, that, like the character of Amber had some problems in the first season.
They turned it around.
They kind of do. What I like about it is that they turn it around, but they don't completely disavow the problems with that character that were there in season 1. They don't rewrite her, they don't retcon her and what she was about. They just kind of pepper that sort of stuff in, but it's also like she has actually grown up a bit, which makes sense, out of high school into college. But yeah, the aspects of her character that were there, like the low-key and occasionally high-key narcissism, it's tempered, but it's still there. Like, you have the end of season 1, she instantly makes the worst thing you could possibly imagine about her when she has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And that was bad. That was really bad. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way for good reason.
And
she doesn't go that far ever again. And yet she will occasionally, like, take a situation, okay, I want this to be about me now. Every now and again. And it's, that's not cool, but, it's just...
That's the character.
Yeah, that's the character. And it's done subtly and quietly in mild ways, so it's not like, oh god, this is an awful person kind of thing. And I appreciate that.
And you also get to see the after effects of how those interactions have affected Mark as well.
Yeah.
And, like, they treat it all with, like, this all happened, we're not retconning anything.
Yeah. And they did make the problems with that a lot more clear, and with that relationship a lot more clear, and didn't try to make it all the fault of one side, which is what they absolutely fucking did in the first season.
Yeah.
Instead, they make it very clear everyone's really trying, and it's just not working, and you see the reasons it's not working. And the one thing I really want to call out is a perfect moment of this, just an absolutely perfect, nailed it moment, is when Mark gets back from wherever the fuck. I know where it was, but I'm not going to spoil anything. And she's like, yeah, so you were gone for a while, and yeah, some things happened. My friends actually thought I was just kind of making you up for a while, but, so some things happened, and my grandpa died, and that was rough for a while, and things like that. But, we move on, right? That's how things go. And you see the condolences card, and Mark looking at it and just being like, not only was I not here for her for this, when this happened, I have been gone so long that this happened, she was cut up about it, and then she got over it all before I got back here.
Yeah. And
that is just rough. So, that was treated way better, and I appreciate it so much that I did not think this would be possible for them to actually bring that around. So, like, incredible props to the writers for actually pulling that together in such a way and making it so impactful.
Totally agreement. Like, I like the way that they, like, obviously they were hearing a lot of the criticisms of all the fans and everything, and they were like, okay, let's adjust slightly here. And, like, it turns out really well and feeling very human, you know? Like, it feels real.
Yeah. And it would have been so easy to be like, oh, it's just loud, obnoxious people that are mad that she is a strong, independent woman and that we decided she'd be black. And, like, they didn't do that. They didn't drown out the criticism with, like, just pretending it was all in bad faith. They looked at it, recognized it, and just, okay, scrubbing away all the bad faith, there is a kernel of a point here. So let's acknowledge that and work with that. And I appreciate that so much, because it's so easy to not do that and just throw away criticism, especially when it's just drowned in bad faith arguments. So kudos to them. So many kudos.
Also, how about that? I am so lonely.
I wish that wasn't spoiled for me. I wish
Dang.
I had not heard that speech and known it was coming, because that would have been so out of left field and just fucking like just kind of thing. If I hadn't known about it.
You know that's show original, right?
I do now. Yes. I listened to. The reason I watched this in the first place was because Versus Wolves had it as a thing.
Oh.
They were watching it, so like, okay, if I want to watch this next episode, I did kind of want to watch Invincible and finish that off. So okay, I'll watch it before doing this. Cool.
Okay, good, because I also saw the Versus Wolf, but I had already watched it beforehand. So yeah. They used one. For those who don't know, because I feel like this sounds like crazy talk to anybody who's not watched Invincible. What me and Casey have been going on back and forth about. There's a character who shows up in Invincible season 3, who's an antagonist who, in the comics, is just kind of a sociopathic, psychopathic, like murderer, killbot, right? And they added in a speech for that character that adds like this delightful nuance to this like roaring titan of destruction, and adds that like kernel of humanity that is like
it's kind
so
of the thing of the show is like just making these omnicidal people just people in the end.
It's so philosophically delicious. Like getting to see how in the show, which is again made by the same person who wrote the comics, like he's overseeing everything, and a lot of it is kind of like fixing problems that he had in the comics. Like if you get the chance to rewrite your story, you know, you're gonna take that and make it like an animation. You know, that's basically what it's doing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of changes that are just overall for the better.
Yeah. Like, we did talk about Amber, and Amber is a nice, convenient one to not fucking spoil anything actually major. They race lifted her, and like, okay, whatever. They changed her character in pretty drastic ways. Like, in the comics, she was basically your Mary Jane Watson. Like, she's just, hey, I'm here, and, you know, you're a superhero, that's super cool. I'm the girlfriend of a superhero, that's neat. And then Mark goes away on his journey, and while he's gone, she cheats on him. That's her presence in the comics, and then she kind of goes away. In this, they make her more of a character. For, you know, it's a wobbly start, but like I say, they get much better with it, and then actually delve into why that might happen. It doesn't in the show, but why it would be fucking completely fucking reasonable if it had. So, you know, a lot of rewrites, but a lot of making things more interesting and delving into things on a deeper level that the comic, I want to say, kind of wasn't really, well, the writer at the time maybe wasn't equipped for. Like, the comics mostly were almost parodies of most super. It was sort of like, some people are going to say this is giving it way too much credit, and some people who agree with me are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. It's me saying it's kind of like Evangelion to other mecha shows. It is the superhero version of that.
It's always interesting to me when Invincible is brought up, because in almost the same like breath, people bring up The Boys.
Yeah.
which are both dealing with, superheroes, but like not like Marvel DC, like
Yeah, they definitely take a different tack with it in The Boys, because that's like, hey, we have superheroes. There's no supervillains though. It's just these super powerful people, so it's just cool, I guess. It's just a weird dynamic.
Because in The Boys, it's like a critique of like a very strong critique of Marvel and other hero things. Like the person who wrote The Boys, you can tell hates superheroes. And the person who wrote Invincible, you can tell, loves superhero stuff, maybe a bit too much at times.
Yeah.
So there's a really nice contrast.
Yeah. But is doing a deconstruction of like, okay, the superheroes have to bat 1,000 all the time or everything gets fucked. Everything about being a superhero sucks because it's basically being a first responder times 1,000. Everyone is dying around you. The stakes could literally not be higher for everything that you do. If you say no to like doing a hero thing, then people will die for the sake of you having a personal life. It delves into all of that.
Like, it's so not afraid to be brutal and bloody and show that everything that you're doing has real consequences that cannot be altered. And all that being said, how do you like the direction they've been taking our leading character in Invincible?
That's an interesting one. Because, okay, I have a vague idea of where things are going in the comics, okay? Because, the comics are over, really. So, I had to do research, because I did do a commission for Invincible at one point, so I was like, okay, let's check out the comics and see where things happen. Yeah, I did talk about it at points. So I do have vague ideas of what is going to happen, or probably will happen, like we say, they're changing things. And the big schism between, let's call it, government and Mark, I think is more interesting in this than in the comics. And a lot of people will disagree with me on that. Because in the comics, they made a point of making sure the government was 100% in the wrong. And demonstrated that pretty explicitly. And I get it, but that is also that's just DC. That is Amanda Waller. You're just doing Amanda Waller, like, unironically, with no commentary. It's just the same thing.
And like, when you get that episode that shows you like Cecil's backstory, and you're like, oh, this is why you do what you do. Mm-hmm. This is what you're thinking about, and like you are able to understand. Yeah, like he's been where Mark's been.
Yeah. And he has had to do the hard thing and has had to do the immoral thing, and it has worked because sometimes that is what you have to do. And yeah, it isn't afraid to show that, yes, sometimes that can be the right path when it comes to saving lives, but at the same time, it is also going to ruin the trust anyone has in you. No one is ever going to trust you to do the right thing. They are always going to expect you to do the expedient and efficient thing at the cost of whatever it costs.
Everyone's afraid of me. No one wants to be my friend.
Yeah. It echoes back. Yeah, so that is much more interesting to me, of like, okay, there is an actual conflict here and both sides kind of have a point. That is more important to me than just like, hey, we want the good guy to be the good guy and stuff like.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do deconstruction, let's do some fucking deconstruction.
And I'm just very excited for where the show's going at this point, because
it's gonna go some places, and I don't know whether they're actually gonna take it there. Like, I say that. No, actually, they have pulled back on some things. I did mention the reason that I didn't want to keep watching when I saw a certain clip from season 2, episode 5, and I was like, I like that character. I didn't need to see him go out like that. And Yeah, from the comics, I understand. Oh, that's just it then. Okay, I kind of don't want to watch anymore. And no, it changed. So, you know,
Yeah.
and again, they did something interesting with it. Good for them. Yeah. So, while I say I wonder if they're going to do things, they may or may not. It's very much up in the air right now. But everyone's kind of expecting it, so it would almost be weird if they didn't. It's gonna be rough.
And I have a feeling that they are gonna try to balance things a bit more in terms of like how dark things get. Just because like there's certain characters that should be dead that are alive.
Yep. Yep.
And are still alive by the end of season 3. And I'm like, okay. I feel like they have plans to do things differently here.
I am honestly wondering if they're actually going to just straight up veer away from how the comics go. I especially don't want them to do the ending of the comics because the ending of the comics was fucking bad.
Well, like so far, a lot of the like, I haven't read any of the comics beyond where we are, right? I've looked at the comics, I've looked at comparison stuff, but I've mostly stayed on spoiled as to the future. Although I do know people complain about the ending, and if this is the direction that they're going, if trying to make everybody, even the antagonists, the villains, more like human is the direction that they're going, I think we're going to end up with a very interesting climax to the show. Because
it's going to be weird. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I can only imagine that like things will go differently, right? I mean, like they have to.
It's what it seems like. In a lot of things, yes. In some things, maybe.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think there's anything pressing.
Okay.
No, not really.
I want to yap. Yeah, I can yap. Okay. So, I want to talk about superhero stuff because you're talking about Invincible.
Okay.
So, new Superman trailer came out.
Okay.
And it is bright and it is colorful, and Superman is talking about wanting to save people, and I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with that. I like a Superman who actually wants to save lives.
Yeah.
And who is like a good person in a world that makes being a good person hard.
It is wild that there are now Snyder like diehard fans that are like, that isn't Superman now. Like,
no, it's but like from what I just saw in the trailer, one of the conflicts being Superman doing good and the government being like, no, you can't go and represent the U.S. in a foreign country, and he's just like, people were going to die. I wasn't thinking about representing a country here. Like, that political stuff can miss me. I'm trying to save people's lives. And that's so Superman.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited for a DC movie that's like Superman related, which is not something that I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about that. Also, there was on the Marvel side, there was an Ironheart trailer that dropped.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that's going to be.
Is that a movie or a show? I think that was a show, wasn't it?
It's a show.
Yeah.
It's a show. It's a Disney Plus show. And I don't think that they have made me excited for that character yet. But I'll give this show a chance.
Sure. There was a thing that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because, they decided to say something along the lines of, she's not trying to take up the Iron Man legacy. In fact, it's the opposite of that, or something to that effect. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
They were talking about how in the comics it wasn't that she was like Iron Man's protege. They were just friends. She made her shit almost parallel to his with none of his help. And that's fair enough in the comics. In the fucking MCU, he's fucking dead. You can't just like brush that off as not important. Like,
Yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with it. I still think that they should have like if they're going to introduce her.
Spider-Man. It was so fucking obvious. It
Yeah,
was right there.
if they wanted to introduce her in anything that was not her own movie, it should have been Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that
I was
absolutely
talking
would
to
have been
friends
good
about
too.
that before.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing her into Black Panther as like an afterthought, which she really is an afterthought in that movie, it's such a shame. She should have been thrown in with, somebody else that is like
Who had a connection
feeling,
to fucking
yeah,
Iron Man?
who had a connection to Iron Man, and
Like
that would have been
that could have
a
played
way better
into it of
introduction.
like, hey, Peter was trying to like live up to Iron Man and everything, and he fucking that was a responsibility that was maybe too great for his power or something along those. I don't fucking know, but I'm not writing the scenes here, but like that was basically the end point of Peter's character arc is okay, I fucked up and I have to just kind of let everything go and be just Spider-Man. That's who I am now. And that would have been the perfect opportunity for someone else to pick up the mantle of like taking over Tony's legacy and make her own person. Let her be like independent of Iron Man because she kind of fucking has to be. He's dead. But let her stand on her own 2 feet and like carry that on in spirit. Like
Yeah,
that would have still been cool, and I've been down for that. But what ifs? There's a million what ifs you can do, and Marvel is trying with their show. What if? I was trying to make a joke and it didn't fucking land. I'm too annoyed.
no. The other thing superhero related I want to mention was I went and I watched Thunderbolts.
Yeah, the ensemble movie of people who aren't that impressive, but that's kind of the point. Yeah.
So, Thunderbolts took me by surprise.
That is what I've been hearing.
I was not expecting to like it so much. And the premise of Thunderbolts is that the majority of the characters are basically on-call mercenaries / assassins for the government, who are then like in a sort of cutting off loose ends, put into a room in which they all have to kill each other. This doesn't exactly go as planned, and they end up teaming up. That's all I'm gonna say. That's really not that much about like the main plot.
I could not have guessed that premise. I'm going to say that much. That's fair
Yes.
enough. They did not like spoil too much in those trailers that came out a while ago. So
And you have John Walker, who is still deeply like he was from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Was the U.S. agent who was going to be made to be the new Captain America. He even has super soldier serum, which only made his mental instability problems and ego worse. And he has his own like traumas and issues he's dealing with. You have Ghost, who was like, a lab experiment and was the antagonist of, Ant-Man 2, and a character who I really didn't like in that movie.
and I have completely forgotten.
You have Yelena from the Black Widow movie, who's Black Widow's sister, who was unironically one of the better parts of that movie, in my opinion.
Of Black Widow?
Yeah.
That is a low bar to clear, but maybe.
You have Red Guardian, who is basically just her dad.
Yeah.
You have Bucky. He's here too.
He is also present because, no one cares about the other characters that much. Gotta get butts in seats somehow.
And really, there's also a few other characters I don't want to get into right now.
Okay.
But the reason why this movie works is because in a post Endgame era in which you don't really have an Avengers hero team running around. You just have a bunch of scattered heroes and wandering villains and the US government trying to pick up the pieces. And you have a group of like B-listers who even call out that like the majority of them are really only good at punching and shooting.
Yeah,
And they work so well as a team because every single one of them is deeply traumatized and has like shared like mental health issues.
Okay, that's our reason to team up. Yep.
And no. Let me finish.
Yeah.
And it takes these bunch of characters that nobody really cared about, and by the end of that movie, I cared about these characters, and I cared about like seeing them as a team because they support each other. They really do. They become each other's support network, and like the movie starts with Yelena talking about her own like depression, her own void of go to work, doom scroll on phone, get drunk, fall asleep, do it all over again. Over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's no purpose, and it's very relatable.
For a lot of people, I'm sure, yeah.
But like this very ragtag group, I enjoyed seeing their dynamics there. I mean, in the comics, it's like originally it was like what, Thunderbolt Ross or whatever. Ross has nothing to do with this team.
Yeah.
The origin of the name Thunderbolts comes from Yelena accidentally bringing up that she was on when she was a child, she was on a soccer team called the Thunderbolts. And there's a lot of meaning behind like that, but it's also just kind of funny because anytime somebody calls them the Thunderbolts, she's like dying from cringe. But like, I'm trying not to spoil things. I'm trying real hard. Because like this is not I wouldn't say it's like a 10 out of 10, but for me personally, after going through everything that I've had with the MCU, this was a solid 9 out of 10 for me. With how the themes all work together, it has a very clear, focused vision. This was the shift from more CGI stuff to more practical stuff and making movies like the way they used to be. And you can tell because the effects and the combat and the action all looks just really good. And the writing and the dialogue is all just really well written, and the movie knows when to take itself seriously and knows when to have a sense of humor. It's not like trying to force in a joke every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I feel like if you've ever seen any of the trailers, you'll know that they address Sentry and Void in this movie, and they do it well. They do it very well.
Sure.
So
I totally remember the names of those characters and who they are.
Okay. I won't go into it then.
Okay.
Just long story short, they took a bunch of characters that were either forgotten completely or like were disliked, and they made a really good ensemble like team movie. David Harbour as Red Guardian like is not as like trying to be funny as possible as he was in Black Widow. He knows when to be serious, and he adds so much energy to it. Florence Pugh as like Yelena, as you know, the quote unquote new Black Widow. She does a phenomenal job with her acting. She really knocks it out of the park, and is like the heart of this movie.
Cool.
It's the first time I've felt so excited for like future MCU stuff in a long time. Because like, yeah, I liked Deadpool and Wolverine, but that wasn't getting me excited for future MCU stuff as much as it was like, oh man, this is a send off to all those Fox movies.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's Deadpool has always been separate, and that's not the feeling of that hasn't changed. So it's disconnected from all the MCU stuff. It's separate. Yeah,
and like you look back and it's like, well, then I completely missed Captain America: Brave New World, and I'm told I didn't miss much.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Marvels I felt like was written by AI. Not gonna lie.
Could have been. I mean, from my understanding, a lot of it was cut out for whatever reason. I don't even know why.
Like a lot of the post Endgame movies have been like mid to bad, with only a few standouts for me. And this one was like, okay, I want to see what's next. I wanna see more of these characters. Please show me more of these characters. I like these characters. I care about these characters. Please put them in more things. It felt like a necessary kind of
Reset.
I don't want to say that word because I was just like, is it really? But it kind of is.
It kind of is, and it kind of has to be. That's the thing that we've been missing for this entire thing. Is just like everything felt like it was just coasting along based on things that had happened before, and nothing was really landing because it didn't have much of its own identity. As much as I was saying, like, hey, Iron Man and Ironheart and all that stuff, like, that was me asking for them to build on what came before, and instead it's just kind of, there's Iron something, kind of thing. And Black Panther was not quite the same as that, but was similar. It was a send off to what came before rather than building something new, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, this was the reset they needed.
Yeah.
Like when I saw the movie, I went into the Discord and I was like, "We're so back," because that's how I felt getting out of that. Was okay, we're back. This feels good. This feels like you can continue telling the stories of these characters. You can connect things again. You've gotten me excited again, Marvel. You've raised my hopes. Very happy with it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I went into this with like very low expectations.
Well, I mean that's how they get you. But
yeah,
like, at this point, what else are you supposed to have? So
yeah, it's a good movie that tackles topics of mental health and depression and doesn't have a traditional MCU third act. So go watch it. It's great.
In fairness, a lot of people's problems with Brave New World seems to be that it doesn't have a traditional MCU third act either.
Well,
it's that, but in a good way.
it does it better because the entire movie's built on that. Like it's a very natural, like there's a clear progression, there's a clear like concise vision with what they want to achieve in the movie, and they achieve it.
Yeah.
Which my understanding is not what Brave New World had.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, no, very, very happy with that. That aside, because I wanted to yap about my hero stuff for a while. I've been saving that Thunderbolts rant for a little bit.
Okay.
I been playing the video games, working my way through 100 Line, which has 100 endings. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yeah, apparently there was a thing with, like, you want us to localize that? Fuck you. Because it's just so much goddamn dialogue in it.
It is localized. 100 Line Last Defense Academy is a fantastic visual novel with like strategic RPG like gameplay stuff in it. It has over 100 different endings. And this game feels like the biggest visual novel I have ever played in my entire life. Because the endings are very distinct from each other. And there's so much. I'm 17 endings in, and I'm like, there's no way that there's 80 more endings. But there are.
Okay.
Like, you play through the game normally, and you get to the end of that, and that's like, okay, congratulations, you beat the game. Now, here's the thing. I have a bunch of alternate paths now. And that's where it starts to go really funky. And I don't want to go into the why that happens, because it is justified in the story as to why that happens. But like, I found like story lock 3, and I'm like, what does story lock 3 mean? Oh, in order to go down this route further and get the ending tied to this one, I need some sort of story information from a different route. And it's just at least 3 of these story locks. And oh gosh, this tree of paths and routes is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Vaguely, it sounds like Radiant Historia, honestly.
Probably good comparison. You can jump back to any, because the game takes place over 100 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the name. 100 line Last Defense Academy. You are at the Last Defense Academy defending humanity for 100 days. What happens at the end of 100 days? Play the game and find out. But you have to protect this academy and what's stored inside it for 100 days. You have to. And everybody has these cool like blood powers and everything that lets them use special like weapons and so on and so forth. And 100 days, there are multiple routes already that go the full 100 days and are completely different. Now, granted, a lot of that time is like free time for like leveling stuff up or doing like little social link style conversations with characters or whatever, right? But
and presumably those things aren't like required for you to do every single time.
Yeah. No, your progress is saved on that stuff. So if you really are like, I just want to advance, you can just rest in your bed and sleep. It's fine.
Okay.
But if you want to max everything out, which again, you don't have to, you can. And also you can travel to any day on any route. So if you really want to just grind things out, you can just keep traveling back to the same day over and over and over again. So like, there's no real like rush or anything or pressure with that. That being said, there's some like routes where it's like, okay, we skip forward like 20 days or 10 days at different points. That are like shorter routes. Some routes don't even make it the full 100 days. This is again made by the same people who made Danganronpa. Like there's an entire route in this game that is like just a killing game, like a Danganronpa style killing game. How do we get to that? Find out. Like there's an entire route where all of the characters end up like in a you laugh you lose challenge, where if anybody laughs for any reason, they're subjected to a horribly embarrassing punishment. It's
Okay.
going wildly from serious to jokey at times, depending on which way you go.
Okay.
Yeah, no, great game. Let's see. Advancing forward. Playing my normal gacha games, Endless on Zero, Honkai Star Rail. I'm catching up on story and ZZZ right now. I just
How caught up are you? I was gonna ask.
I just started the story part where it's not just started. I'm a little bit into the part where it's more focused on Vivian. As in, like, I've met like a certain red-haired girl who has history with Vivian.
Right. Okay. So you're in epilogue B. Okay.
So that's where I'm at. I'm still trying to catch up there.
There may be things for us to talk about when you catch up.
Yeah, I haven't had the time for it though, unfortunately. Then let's see. Oh yeah, Honkai Star Rail. Still enjoying that. New patch coming soon. Saber was shown off for the FGO collab they're doing. You also get Archer for free as a free 5-star just by logging into the game when that event starts. So looking forward to having a Holy Grail war and completely different game.
Would have been cool if they were in the action instead of the whatever.
Yeah, I get to run around as a 3D modeled Saber and Archer. That makes me happy.
Could we get another one that's like Rin and Sakura? Maybe that'd be cool.
I was very much hoping for Rin. I
meant for the good game, but okay.
You know, just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you have. It is a good game. I enjoy it.
Okay.
I know you don't like turn-based. That's fine.
I'm fine with turn-based. I'm not great with boring turn-based.
Whew. I'm calming myself.
Mm-hmm.
Calming myself. I'm not rising to the.
Look, let's be real. Both Honkai Star Rail and ZZZ are watered-down versions of the thing that they are. Honkai Star Rail is a watered-down JRPG, turn-based style, all that stuff. ZZZ is a watered-down character action game.
Yeah.
There is a bit of depth to it, but it is all fairly straightforward. And if you water down a character action game, to me, it is still a character action game, and that is my jam. If you water down a JRPG, that's... Yeah. So that's where I stand on that. It's just like,
Well, I still rather enjoy it. And
Fair
to
enough.
me, it is much easier to try to farm in that game because I can just hit an auto button.
Look, Honkai Star Rail is not Fate Grand Order, and that is okay, fair enough. You put in effort.
It's a big... Yep. It's a big upgrade to FGO.
Christ. I think it's still going 10 years in, and they haven't changed shit.
Nope. I've got friends who have been getting back into FGO, and I tried, and it did not click.
I am very sorry, Greek guy. You are the only person posting gacha about FGO now. I don't have the heart to say it like in response, but like I don't think anyone's even playing anymore.
I went back to an older gacha that I have been neglecting, which was Guardian Tales.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I played that. I like that. Yeah, that's linked to my Google account. That's still fine. If I wanted to go back to that,
they have.
I might
now
have actually
been
lost my FGO account.
Definitely.
Yeah.
On top of adding, like previously they had the ascents for the 2-star characters to become like super powered.
Yeah.
And comparable with endgame units. They've now started adding 6 stars.
Of course they have. It's a gacha.
So you can take a 5-star character, and in the future even the ascended characters, and through using a gratuitous amount of resources, turn them into a 6-star character, which changes some of their abilities, changes their art as well, and is a massive upgrade in power. And they're doing this, and they're rolling back this system for as many older characters as they can, especially characters who really like needed it because nobody uses them anymore. Like Arabella, the like dark range that was like one of the first dark range in the game, now has a 6-star variant that's super good.
You're almost half convincing me to get back into this game.
I
remember really enjoying this game, but it just kind of burnt me out on the power creep. I got to like, I think it was chapter 15 or something, and then just kind of burnt out on it. When you have that little hero dude kid around you all the time, and I wasn't particularly engaged with the story at that point, and the power creep was getting annoying, so I just kind of set it down. I was like, I'll come back to that, which is the death of any gacha game.
They've changed a lot of stuff in that game. Part of it is no doubt because they want to make money, but
yeah,
I mean that motivates everything, right?
Yeah.
And like, the power creep is nuts, but some of my characters I've already invested heavily in, I can now raise up to be way better, and every new character that comes out is also going to have a 6-star mode. And so they're back adding it as well at the same time to all the older characters that they can.
Cool.
Which is fun. And I've been going through and slowly advancing the story and being like, oh yeah, I like this game.
Yeah, the story in it was really fucking cool, and it made me cry, and also made me feel really uncomfortable at parts.
Apparently we're up to chapter 21 now. I was stuck in chapter 19, and I was going back through and 100%ing some of the older chapters.
Yeah.
To get more resources to make number go bigger.
Yeah. Remember that time you were put in charge of a fun time, happy workplace camp type place?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a fun one.
Well, I can say...
remember that time when they gave you a bad ending alternate where you fucking just stay in the bad future where everything sucks and you make the little princess cry?
Yeah.
That game's story is cool. It made me cry.
Season 2 has a very good climax, by the way. I know you stopped partway through it, but like it has a very strong ending to it. And I really liked where Season 2 in that game went. We're in Season 3 now, and actually I think closing in on the end of Season 3 eventually. I think Chapter 22 sends you back to Canterbury.
I need to ask a question.
Yes.
Did they ever release I've forgotten her actual name, but
Lightning Counter?
Yes! I was going to say Lightning Chaser. Did they release a Lightning Counter unit?
Not yet.
Damn it. Okay.
I know the moment that she's out, everybody's back in.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, we love Lightning Counter.
Damn right.
They have
Fuck, his stuff in the Bad Future was so bad. Oh my god.
yeah. The recent characters were like a tan like MMA fighter girl who has a 6-star variant with a ponytail.
Okay.
It was really cool, and this like secret agent mermaid. So, I mean,
you had me with neuron activation for the tomboy like MMA girl, and then you just what? This was a bit of a pivot. Is what that was.
I know because I think they're going to like a undersea kingdom or something. But yeah, they have main eventer Callie, who is the tan tomboy fighter girl with abs.
Can't not have abs. If that's the fucking character archetype, you gotta have abs.
Yeah, exactly. And they added so far 6-star versions for AA72, which is free, which is the little water android girl, and then Callie has her 6-star version. And then like Yunha and Arabelle and Kamal, the old man, has a 6-star version now, which is buffing the most broken units in the game with Kamal and Yunha. But I mean, they're going on. But other characters as well. And here, let me post a picture for you, Casey, in regards to the girl I'm talking about.
You know, I was happy having only one gacha that I was playing on a regular basis, right?
Anyway, this is Callie.
God damn it, Zero.
Yeah. And you can see like, and this is
Is the battle for this character over?
Still up.
God damn it, Zero. I hate you.
Up for 8 days.
Is there a PC client for this? I know I played it on BlueStacks. I don't want to play it on BlueStacks.
Yeah.
I will have to look into this like fucking later because this is probably gonna have sound. So.
Yeah. No. So I was getting back into Guardians.
Anyway, can we move on, please? Thank you.
All that aside, my last thing I want to talk about, and I know I've been yapping for a while, which to be fair is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't know. I have a friend who has been regularly watching Sentai with me. They have been working very hard to get me into Sentai because I like Power Rangers.
Patient, how you doing? I'm kidding, by the way, just to be clear.
This has resulted in me on my own, of my own volition, going to watch Osama King Ogre, Royal Sentai King Ogre, which is a Sentai in which all of the Rangers here are the kings and queens of various nations in a fantasy world, and I'm really into it. Like, it has nothing to do with, like, they're not in Japan, they're not on Earth, they're in an entirely different world, and they make very frequent use of green screen. But, like, I'm into it. I'm enjoying this show. It ate all of my time yesterday that I needed to use on report cards. The whole premise being, like, the Red Ranger is not the king of the Red Nation, or Shugadam, or whatever it's called. Rather, he's like some guy who was worthy enough and is now being treated by the king as like a criminal, and he's like fully committing to the role of wahaha, I'm the evil king. I'm gonna take over and strike down your kingdom, king. Because if the king is like supposed to be the good guy and has policies that will result in people getting killed. I'm just gonna
say you're explaining this kind of like slipshod, mate. Yeah. I don't get any of this.
Sorry,
this is not translating.
Sorry. Okay. Apologies. I'm rambling. Okay. Sentai, you have your 5 colored rangers, right? In this particular Sentai, all of these rangers are chosen individuals who are kings and queens who have these like special swords that let them transform into their ranger forms and let them command their specific bug themed mecha.
Okay.
Um, like uh the Red Kingdom with the Red King, who's like supposed to be the Red Ranger, is totally the main villain of the show, which means that the actual Red Ranger that we get is some kid from the slums who gains the king's power to turn into a ranger and is like, I'm going to overthrow you and take over the kingdom because you're kind of a scumbag. And ends up going through like a sort of atypical journey of like winning over the other kings and queens of the world while also fighting off the invading bad guys that Rangers are supposed to fight, and also trying to avoid the king from hunting him down and executing him.
Okay.
And it's really fun. It's really enjoyable. I'm into Sentai. I cannot be helped.
All right. I'm gonna have to assume that is a lot more in how the show does it than the premise alone, because the premise alone doesn't sound that, you know.
Yeah, the premise I tried to explain in a simple way, but like there's really good characters that are well defined and fun settings and fun combat, and it's done well. It's executed well.
Okay.
Also, other than that, last thing, personal thing, I went to my cousin's wedding, and we went to, I because I have money now, I was able to get my own hotel room, which was awesome. I didn't have to bunk with anybody else, which was awesome. Wedding was like I had to take an 8 o'clock flight to get onto the plane, because I had a full day of work teaching, and then we also had a whole fair afterwards that I had to stay for, and by the time I was able to get to the airport and get to where the gate where my flight was, I had about 5 minutes before we started boarding. So very close. Made it. The flight actually landed 30 minutes early. Like everything was working smoothly. Get in there, get down to Orange County, go down over to like this vineyard over in like Temecula, and in this time in which this is his wedding, and this is my cousin who's about the same age as me. Right, I've known him my entire life. Really happy for him. It's 108 degrees out.
It is mid to late May. Orange County means California. That's
And me and a lot of people are wearing suits. And oh gosh, that sun sure was bright. They were handing out little like umbrellas and little like fans, and I was just dying. It was so hot.
yeah.
Very fun ceremony. Very awesome to get to meet with with like family that I've not met with since like the last time I met them at a family gathering was a funeral. So being there at a wedding is much better. And oh my gosh, it was, once that sun went down, everyone was happy. Everyone. But I was just happy to be there for my family and had a great time. Food was good. Bugs were plenty. And got back in time after an 8-hour drive to then rest up shortly before falling asleep and going back to work. Which I am very much swamped with right now. I have a lot of work. Yeah, outro. Time for us to say goodbye.
We have to do the Patreon thing.
We do. We do. And I hate that you remembered.
Yeah, that's my fault. I suck. God damn it, Casey. Remembering will give us money because they're cool like that.
Patreon likes to do this thing where they keep changing up how things go.
All of the interface and stuff for finding out who's fucking actually.
Yep. I'm going to just say some quick thank yous to the people who are supporting us, because you guys are awesome. Thank you to James McArthur, Rehits21, Vale, Greek Guy, Ethan F, and the Crossbrain for your various donations. It's I can you imagine that we've been doing this for more than 400 episodes?
Yeah, so someone commented in the fucking last episode, I
I
think.
saw that.
Yeah.
I was curious. I was like, we have.
I get an email for comments, and it's like I never follow up on them because ADHD. As soon as it happens, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that someone commented. I should get on that, and I'm looking at my phone, which means I'm not looking at YouTube. So by the time I get to my computer, it's like, oh, what was I thinking about?
Yeah.
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 So, yeah. Someone was like, yeah, wow, 400 episodes. That's you keep chugging along. Hope you get big someday. We won't ever, and we don't really care about that. To be perfectly frank with you.
Yeah. No.
Like,
We've been going for many years at this point, and we're not going to blow up or go viral at this point. Like, that's just how it is.
That might have been a thing that would be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool in like the first year we did this? And we put in some effort. We did some neat things that I'm still kind of proud of us doing the fucking manga reflux for the time that we did that. That was cool. We had to go with Let's Plays at the time that was already irrelevant.
I wish we could do another fun series, though. I feel like we should.
Nobody has time.
I know that we don't have time, but I mean, what's an extra 30 minutes, right?
An extra 30 minutes.
Like, if we just do, like, even just a short series, like 30 minutes before each podcast, like we used to. I mean, come on. You and me, we can do it.
You put me on the spot here. I'm recording this shit. Like, fuck you.
I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it. Okay, no commitment here, but I think it would be fun to go back to doing some of the stuff that we used to.
Yeah. So Patreon, Discord, links in the description. If you want to yell at me and join in Zero, yelling at me about like, see if I can.
If I had free time, I would be streaming regularly. I will tell you that.
Yeah. OBS is apparently gotten a lot easier to use than it used to be.
Oh yeah, no, there's the OBS Studio thing, which is super, super easy and like streamlined.
Yeah, I remember when you tried to teach me to use that like way back in the day, and I was like,
No, they've made it better since then.
Yeah.
Way better.
That was like, again, to prove the point, that was like 8 years ago. So,
Yeah, I know. So old. Anyway. I was contacted to go and buy a gallon of milk for my baby nephew. And so I must go now to buy a gallon of milk for my baby nephew.
Okay. Bye, Zero, and everybody else. Milk.
Goodbye. I hope you also have a wonderful milky day.
What the fuck?
Chaos.